Woo! Yes. You know, it feels really, really good to be on this episode, and nothing against Meals on One Wheels, but it was a Monday, and it's like Monday vibes versus 72 degree Ohio Friday vibes. 45 minutes before we start the podcast, our first hoodie comes in.
Swag.
Hoodie.
Swag.
So swaggy.
I just don't think it would match my outfit, so I'm not putting mine on. But
The colors are not working for you.
Right.
Don't put it on. But anyways, so we've been working on some merch. We've been trying to put some different things together for the Pushback to help people support the podcast. We've got some really cool ideas with patches that we're coming across. This one actually will come with, we're going to call it the V1 patch, because it could use a little bit of love. However, it's a really, really dope hoodie, and I'm excited to finally put these out along with some other merch. By the time this podcast airs, we're going to be promoting it and having all kinds of stuff come across. But today we are with Josh of Oak City Shredfest.
Let's go.
Supremo.
Let's go.
Welcome to the show, my man.
No, thanks for having me. I'm super stoked about this.
Dude, thanks for being here, man. We are excited.
Thank you.
You have a very professional setup, by the way. It's like the backdrop
really
is beautiful. I don't know if it's green screen, if you just have everything set up that way. But
He's got it set up.
Green screen. Yeah. no.
It's Photoshop.
This is actually my my home office, and thanks to Caleb, he recommended a lot of this gear. I've been wanting this kind of stuff. And
nice.
He's like, I want to come on the podcast, and I'm like, well, I kind of try to have stipulations for people. So if you got money, here's what I want you to order.
Don't want to look like a chump.
Right,
Dude,
and then I was like, I'm in school for this kind of stuff, so I use a lot of the same equipment for that kind of stuff. So it just now amplifies that even more, and it makes it a little easier and even more fun. So that was super cool. But all this stuff is stuff that I've collected now through my 3 years now of having a one wheel. Actually, that date up there was when I first got my one wheel right there. So
nice.
3/7/19. Did I read it right?
Yeah, 3/7/19. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It wasn't as pixelated as I thought.
Costume?
I'm sorry, is that Mandalorian?
Is that a Mandalorian
costume? So I had like my original idea with this, and how I set this whole thing up was I wanted to be able to use my TV right here, kind of like how you guys do, but my curved TV doesn't work well with the camera. So I decided I was going to cover it with like the float light flag, but that was too small. So then I just grabbed, I figured it was just very fitting of me, which is all my little onesies and stuff, and then also my like Supremo jersey. But it the Red Dragon is the one I do a lot, and then that was my new favorite one, which is my Mando onesie, because I love that one.
How many onesies do you have?
Dude, I literally have a closet over there, and now I have it's literally full. I think I have like 10 something going on.
Wow, nice.
So onesies versus rompers.
So I only have one romper now. Yeah, I only have one romper. Yeah.
Everybody needs at least one romper.
You're romper curious.
So the rompers was because it's the summertime onesie. That's really all it is. Yeah. It's the summertime onesie.
Yeah, that's funny. I love that.
But no, the onesies. It's just because we do now the themes, because we have the Float Life Second Sunday Slow Roll every second Sunday of the month, and so that has a theme every month. So you have to have new costumes that I have to keep up with. So perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to have probably make another spot in my back office there to handle all my costumes. But yeah.
Wow, very nice.
I love that you're in your middle 30s. And you have a costume collection, and if you could go back and meet yourself in your middle 20s, dude,
5 years ago, I turned my camera and I can show you my other wall of things. I was a military firearms instructor for 10 years, 12 years.
Yeah,
and dude, no way, none of this stuff. You thought none of this stuff. No, not at all.
Honestly, man, this might be a really good segue in, though, too, is the question of how did you get into one wheel, dude?
Yeah, so that's kind of, I know you guys, I really do love your guys' podcast. I think you guys have done a fantastic job, and so I've been watching you guys.
Thanks.
So I knew you were going to ask me that question, so I've been thinking about that. And it's a very simple question, but it's also how I talk. I tell them stories. So yeah, I was in the military for a long time, and I got forced medically retired due to some medical things. And I was basically stuck at home, not knowing what I was going to do with my life, not knowing like even like all my friends and everything that I had known was that world. Like everything I'd known was that world. My family was that world. Like everything is in that world. So I was just kind of just like really down and depressed, and I was in just watching TV, and you're just watching Netflix over and over again. You can only watch so much shows over and over. And I found this like tech show, and it was like talking about new tech that was out, and I keep thinking about this, but I think it was the Plus, and it was just showing the Plus, and it was just showing the capabilities of the Plus, and just that like you can get on it, get off of it, and ride it. It'll go up hills, it'll go down hills, and you can control the speed and stuff. And that was like, oh my gosh, I've got to try this thing. And so I checked out YouTube videos, and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on just like how to ride it and like what it was going to do. And then I said, all right, I'm going to pull the trigger, I'm going to get it. And yeah, on that day I got my my XR, and I rode it every single day after that, and was number 15 in the leaderboard, even riding it every single day.
Now, did you have a squad
did
you have a squad that you rode with early on, or was it pretty much just you right at the beginning?
No, yeah. So I live in Pittsboro, North Carolina, so I'm about 45 minutes away from Raleigh, like center. And so there's nobody. I'm the one wheel guy in Pittsboro, right? And like that's how I'm known in my neighborhood, my old neighborhood, and everywhere. Like so. There was nobody else riding, and so I was looking around on. I kind of got onto right when I got my one wheel. I got onto like the owners groups and the riders groups on Facebook and stuff, and then I found this local riding group called One Wheel Raleigh, and it was set up by a college kid at NC State, and it was just like a few guys that were out riding, and my wife basically forced me to go ride with them, and then 3 years later, now we're like 1,500 people on the Facebook page and stuff. Yeah, so.
So wait, can I go back for 1 second? Did you say you got up to 15th on the leaderboard?
Yes. Yeah. I have screenshots. I was really stoked about that. I was wanting to get it higher because I was really working on it up to Float Life Fest 3, because I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to Float Life Fest 3, and I want to be really high up on the leaderboard. Like nobody cares, but in my mind, I was caring. And then one night, I don't even know how it happened. I guess I just didn't open the app, and it canceled me out. But yeah, I got to 15.
Oh,
dang!
Stolen.
I was really sad about that. There's also a huge weight, because then it was, like now you don't have to ride a mile every day.
Yeah.
When it was raining, I was like doing it in my garage, just like laps in my garage. So
yeah.
The true one wheel spirit.
Sorry, I didn't mean.
No, it's good though. It forced me
to derail the story. Yeah. Sorry.
No. Yeah, but it forced me to become really proficient kind of quickly, because you're riding and you're forcing yourself to figure out ways of putting in a mile every day, and so you're riding at different times of the day, and yeah, so it's cool. And then also figuring out what to do to ride in the house to kill a mile. And I always tell people this when you first get it, it really should be in the house, because if you have the capability, because you can like hold on to the counters and stuff if you need to, or like when you're practicing really tight turns and stuff, you can kind of like grab a wall if you need to and stuff. So it really was a
stripper pole.
Grab a vase, grab a lamp, grab a
dog, whatever.
But yeah,
you gotta grab everything that's not bolted down. That's how that works. Yeah,
grab it all on the way down.
So the one wheel was a considerable like positive attitude boost for you. You mentioned you were kind of down.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. I know I already made that story. So yeah, it was like not only that. I mean, oh my God, you're talking about like the depression side of everything was just totally taken away. I mean, I talk about that all the time. Is that how like you would, when you're riding, you're not thinking about like your past or what happened years ago or yesterday or whatever, the bills or whatever you have. You're thinking about like what's happening right there in front of you, and you're thinking about like what are we gonna do, or what's that line? What line can I find? As you get better, and then you start looking at other things. But like especially when you're first learning, you're so hyper focused on like every little thing. That's why you hear people like with super ranging, like their feet get tired because they're super like flexed and they're really hyper focused on it. So it that's where I got that out of it. But then I mean, don't even wrong. Like the one wheel is fantastic. I love the one wheel. I think the one wheel is an insane medical device. It really is for me. But the biggest thing was finding this group. Oak City has been the greatest thing that has ever happened in my entire life, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of the 4 people that are watching are probably from Oak City. And again, I love everybody in Oak City because this is it's a family. I mean, we really we know each other. Like, they know my kids. We all get together off things. We've gone to people's cabins and hung out and camped together, and it's been just a fantastic time to be together, and we're growing every day. So it's just been that's been the most benefit for me. Yeah,
that's amazing. Killer. So give me a little bit of, let's transition this into Oak City then. What how did you get into Oak City Shredfest? Yeah, we got a little mosquito here. Wow. If there anything,
I volunteer as tribute. Someone's got it. There you go.
So Oak City Shredfest really was because, like, you know, we went to Flow Fest 3 is really where Oak City Onewheel kind of became a thing in terms of like a group and a real strong club, and where like nicknames came from and like all this stuff, right? And so we really loved that vibe that was happening there. And then when Flow Life Fest was moving out of North Carolina, we were like we got to really move on making something here, because it's just this now is vacuum that's there. And one of our OG members, who's been in the club since the beginning, was at the ride that I went, my first ride. He'd been even before I was. Him and his business partner, they have property down in South Raleigh, and they do concerts and stuff throughout the year out there, like on like the property with their concert lighting company. And so then they also do like glamping. So they've got like yurts and RV hookups and stuff like that all around this little hidden lake that then they do, like, you know, they've got like disc golf and, you know, like all these little things that they, you know, like you would be at a camping spot.
Gotcha.
And so when that was opened up to us, we just were like, we've gotta use this. Like, this is so cool. We cannot pass this up. So once that happened, something happened that was kind of negative. So we were really excited about this, because next door to this property is also 9 miles of like amazing trails that we've been riding all the time. Like, everybody loved, and this has been amazing. And so we were like, well, why don't we've been parking at this property. Why don't we just start doing the stuff here? And so we reached out to this property that has the trails and asked them if we would be able to use the property and have a bunch of people come out. And they said, absolutely not. You are now trespassed. We do not want to see you on our property ever again.
Ouch.
And we were like, we did not expect that. That was a huge hit to us. And so we started really focusing on Flow Track and making Flow Track like something that would be rideable. And then that ended up being like a huge blessing in disguise, because now we made this like incredible track that now we control, and we can light up, and people can ride all night, and no one's kicking you off. And we can have e-bikes, we can have ECs, we can have Churons, we can have e-skates, whatever, and no one's going to tell us no, because it's where we control it. So really, that's been really like a cool thing. And now we've expanded that with Oak City single track, so it's been really cool.
Awesome.
Is that all on the original property that you were talking about with the yurts and stuff?
Yeah. So so now the single track is connecting you from the float track, which is just on one part of the property, to that to like the camping side of it. And that, where before you'd have to either go like around, like all the way around on the road, or you'd have to cut through other people's campsites. And now you'll be able to ride through these trails, and then you'll be able to get your, put some Strava times in while you're just traveling. So it's really cool.
Very nice.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. I have one quick question back. It's more about your story getting into one wheel, but do you have any board sports experience before the one wheel?
Yeah. So, I grew up in Northern California. So like you guys were talking, your last guest was really cool to see out there. Cause like Max? I grew up in Folsom, California. No, not Max. I see your last guest. So when you guys had the meals on one wheels.
Oh yeah.
Like all that, those are all my, like I grew up in that area. Like I was born and raised in the Bay Area. Walnut Creek was where I was born. And then when I was middle high school, my dad retired. And so we moved to Folsom, California, which is basically where like Gold Country One Wheel that's where they started, And so it's really cool. It's really fun to see like, my hometown growing up. But yeah, I grew up in California. So of course I was in sports. I mean, it was just like a lifestyle. Snowboarding. I was more of a rollerblader than I was on the skateboarding, because I did grow up in San Ramon, if you're familiar with the East Bay. And I lived in the hills of San Ramon, so like going down those hills on like a skateboard was just I was not having that. That wasn't having it. It just doesn't happen as a kid. So I really got more into rollerblades because you can kind of control the speed a little better. And then we advanced up into like the gas powered scooters, little go-pads. Nice. And that was the next level. So yeah, the one wheel was I was in the military for 12 years, so it went from like rollerblading as a kid to nothing, not even like snowboarding, nothing for all those years, and then boom, jumped on the one wheel. So yeah, I was into it, but it was not my thing.
So you talked a little bit. I definitely want to hear about. I want to go on with the thing we were talking about, but I really am curious about the origin story. So you talked about the mental health like boost and the community boost and all that stuff, which I can 100% relate to. I'm like a COVID one wheeler, so I was like part of that boost, like the huge uptick in one wheelers. During,
it's funny you call it because I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing. The guy that got me into one wheeling didn't have a bead on the larger community. He was just like, I fucking love this thing. Come over to my house and give this a try. But so it turns out I was part of this wave of one wheel riders who went out to find some outdoor stuff and some mental health in the pandemic. But
COVID was like baby boomers, basically.
I'm a one wheel boomer. Yeah. And I got in on the tail end of the XR, and I'm so thankful I did. I liked riding your GT the other day, but I love my XR, and now you can't get it. You know, like you can't have that like box opening experience anymore. But anyway, I remember what it was like for me, that like the feeling that like kind of triggered my love, and it was basically going up a hill. And you had that in that video that you shot. You talked about imagine snowboarding up a mountain or whatever, and something to that effect. And I was like, oh, that's what did it for me. So I'm wondering, I just want to hear like what was it like when you stepped on one? How did you get your first board under your feet, and how long did it take before you bought two of them? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't buy my son. My son actually got the second one. It took me a little bit to get it. But I feel like it came natural. Like I feel like there was this unnatural connection to it that I felt so right away that, I mean, literally there's a video of me the first day of me getting it, and I was riding and throughout my whole neighborhood. I know, like literally. I mean, even with that, I mean, I recommend you should wear a helmet. But I wasn't even wearing a helmet in the beginning. I was literally just riding around with like a hat on or whatever, you know. And
wear your helmets, kids. Be safe.
You wear your helmets because honestly, because I was about to say, I would say like not overconfident, but I was definitely starting to get a little. I wasn't like pushing it to its limits, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna go a little faster. I'm now gonna like cross the road. You know what I mean? So like you had my neighborhood, and you had like a major road that brought you into like a shopping center, and I was always like, all right, I'm not ready yet to cross this road. But I was like, all right, fine, I'm ready to go cross this road. And when I crossed that road, I just hyper accelerated, and I nosedived and I ate it, and I broke my brand new Oakley glasses. I cut my head. And I was like, all right, that's it. I'm done. I'm never buying expensive glasses again. And also, I'm gonna wear a helmet from now on. So yeah. But yeah, I feel like, really honestly, I feel like that's why there's this weird unworldly connection to me in the one wheel, because I feel like I've always like was meant to be on this thing. So I don't know. There was no like learning curve for me or anything. So it's fun.
Okay, so I think that satisfies my.
If it doesn't satisfy the question, it's because I'm sorry I ran on a rant.
No, I just I didn't want to derail the story and the discussion about the property where the festival is. I'm just curious about your
obviously
story.
Like the festival's important. Like we want to talk about that, but the origin story connects with a lot of people. And I'll know, like for all of our episodes, the episode we had with Matthew Shoemaker, when he hit on that part of like PTSD and depression and like that thing,
right?
We get to this day, like we still get people commenting in, like relating to that story. Someone just a couple days ago left a crazy long comment about how much they related to that. So it's important, you know. Like I didn't get into it and it didn't cure any type of depression thing for me or whatever. But those people out there that do, like, it's so wild to see its effect.
Yeah, I think it alleviated some pressure in my life that I didn't even know I really had. I was kind of holed up, and I love my family. My wife is my best friend, and I love my kids and all that stuff, but we really hunkered down in the pandemic, and we love each other and we got along great, but we have a 1/4 acre plot, there's only so many Frisbees you can throw 5 feet to each other. And so just getting out and then getting back out to see people and,
Well, also probably, probably coming from a board sport where you're used to that release.
Yeah.
I'm sure your brain kind of gets used to it in some level of being like, oh, okay, that's where I can just go and just get away from it or whatever. And if you're not necessarily doing that as much, your brain's like, hey, where is that?
Yeah. and it reactivated a portion of my spirit that had been put in a little box when I had kids, which was fine. Like I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I'm just saying you have to do stuff with kids that you didn't have to do before kids. Like spend every fucking waking hour with them. No,
literally.
But
4 minutes ago, mine literally just popped in the door and was like,
I love my kids. My life is so much better with my kids in it, but you have to become a different person.
Yeah.
But see, also, I think my thing is that the Onewheel has made my relationship with my kids even better.
Yeah,
because now not only it took us a little bit to be able to afford it, right? Because you had to buy all these things really sure. Now we have, and then it took even some of them didn't like some of the things, we had to upgrade them. But either way, so the kids now have scooters and Segways and or Onewheels, or my wife has a Super 73, and
nice.
Now being able to go and do those things where we'll go up to like a start of a greenway, and then we'll ride, and then we'll go and get some like dinner, and then come ride back as a family, and we get some ice cream, whatever. And that has been so much fun because now you're outside, you're doing stuff with the kids that they're gonna remember forever. And then you're also, out. You're just I'm still doing something I love, so it's good time.
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to when my kids are a little. I mean, I don't want to rush them, but like when they're a little bit older, and we can get out and kind of tear it up together and get up to some skate rat shit. But like for me, I don't want to steal the show, but I'm just like I didn't know I needed it. And when I stepped on it, I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, and it seems like every person that we talk to, they're like, yeah, I got on it and something clicked.
Yeah.
And
the reason
connection.
Yeah, and I think the reason why like somebody like my wife hasn't fully connected with it is because she kind of had like a little like an injury, 5 minutes into riding it, or maybe 10 minutes into riding it. It wasn't that bad, thank God, but it was like, she's like, that didn't feel like I was born on this thing.
That's another common origin story where people are like, they get hurt very quickly within getting on it, and then they're like, nope, it's not for me. And then more times than not, though, people kind of come back and be like, what? I kind of liked something about that.
December on the Onewheel subreddit is the funniest thing for me. It's like, I just got this thing. It's really great. And then literally like a week later,
one wheel for sale.
Like, I broke my collarbone. I'm selling this.
Oh.
We had a friend.
It's not even just on the subreddit; it's on the Facebooks too.
It's all in the crash group.
You just know when you're getting a good deal.
You can click on them.
Yeah,
you can click on them and you can go back, and they're like, "Oh man, I was test the speed limit on this thing," or like, you're like, "Dude, you asked for it though." Like, So
it's legitimately last night. There's a big St. Patty's Day parade in Ashland. Like they always go all out for the most random holidays, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's weird.
So we go down. And my buddy's like, hey, can I like ride the Onewheel around? He was just getting used to it. We're trying to get more people into it. And I let him loan it. I was like, yeah, go ahead and take it home afterwards. Like, just don't hurt yourself. And I get a text at like 9 p.m. And he was like trying to full send up this hill. And he's like, I know what you mean by pushback now. And launched off an XR. His leg is like, he's got like a torn ligament or something. But it was so ironic because TJ, the guy from the group, ends up was like 10 seconds behind him, rolls up behind him, and is just like, it's all part of the journey, man. Like, and so he has this perfect segue. I'm like, that's the Onewheel community. Like,
Well,
you're either gonna sell your board at this point, or you're
gonna get your surgery,
hooked.
and you're gonna like.
And the second thing that I've noticed about Onewheels is like, you can tell somebody like, hey, if you do this, this is gonna happen. And they still do it. Like I told him earlier in the day, I was like, hey, dude, listen, when it starts to like rock backwards, that's telling you to chill out. And he did not.
Yeah, and he did not chill out.
He did not.
Yeah.
But so I want to leeway or segue off of Christian saying, you realize it's like something you need, or like you didn't realize it was something you need.
Yeah.
Oak City Shredfest, right? These festivals. You're the first person we've had on that has a festival, I believe. I
think so. I think that's right.
Yeah. So there's no secret Flight Fins festival, right?
It's too secret.
Other than
it's like an underground flight fest.
No, Flight Fest is it's very underground. You've already missed it. It's
you gotta have a security clearance for that.
It flew over you.
Yeah, it flew over you.
Yeah, exactly.
Waka waka waka.
So other than our special coverage we had with Mike's Bike Park, there was an amazing event that Flight Fins helped sponsor. We came down, we did some podcast content. We had about 50 riders end up total in the indoor bike park. Other than that, you're the first person to bring a festival, an event on. So I want to kind of dive in and we just had a giant ass truck. We're also ADHD here. That was an extremely loud truck just drive by. I've got a soundproof barn and it's anyway.
And it didn't work.
Yeah. Got to fix the door now. So I want to talk about like why do people need to come to one of these events? Or we can even talk a little bit about like you've only had 2 years as Oak City Shredfest, or this would be the second year, right? Last year was the first.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And last year was the year that you had just kind of a local audience, right? Was that the year that COVID, or was that the year before?
No, I mean honestly, we thought it was gonna. That's exactly what we were expecting. Honestly,
okay.
Like I mean, even as we were planning it, a lot of my guys were being like, "Let's not. I'm not going to put a lot of effort in this. This is basically it's going to be a group ride where we're camping." Like that was a lot of what the mindset was, right? And then I think it was the slap in the face was when Bodie and Elijah landed, and they're like,
nice.
"Oh shit." Yeah, they're like, all right, and then we had a bunch of other, we had, but like, I'm not trying to like just drop names here, but like, like Brandon LaCour, and then like Cole, I call him Cole Crush because I'm like that's his name, but you have Darren Cole right from up the north coming down. You have all these guys that were coming down from a good distance, and it ended up being that it was predominantly not locals because I think the locals didn't want to. They saw the hurricane and were like, "Oh, it's got canceled or it's not going to be fun. I'm not going to go out there," and didn't look at the live videos or moved on and went and did something with their families or whatever, and then missed out. So that's the big one that the locals this year are gonna have realized
they're gonna turn out.
So yeah,
that's really interesting. Yeah. I wouldn't have expected that. I think that's sweet though. But was that the one that you had like a couple hundred people at?
220. Yeah.
Yeah, because there were like over 1,000 people or something that were gonna come, or that you expected.
No, not. I mean, so we were expecting that at like Float Life Fest.
Yeah, okay.
That was kind of more like Float Life Fest was as like it was been growing. That was like and then pandemic came and that just didn't happen. I mean, Float Life Fest
and you
3.5 had like 100 something people.
You just attended Float Life Fest, right? Like you took control
Float
of
Life Fest
City?
3. I volunteered there, and I just worked the race the first year just because I wanted to help out, just because I just did. And then Justin and I have become friends just because of locality and then all kinds of other things and the mutual things that we love to do. And then obviously we both are into making festivals. And so I helped out a lot more last year and then helping out even more this year with Flow Life Fest. But yeah, it's been really cool. Flow Life Fest is if for those of you who are listening and don't know, because we're talking about Oak City Shredfest, Flow Life Fest is the national event, right? So you have like Oak City Shredfest is you should come from the nation all the way. Absolutely, totally should. But we really are like our audience. We know is the East Coast, right? Like that's where we really are like focusing on. And then you have like some events that are out west, right? Then those are more the West Coast events. Where Flow Life Fest is the national event. Like that's the one where everybody should get together, and from all sides and from even internationally, you should get there because it is a really cool event. We take over the entire city of Bentonville. They love us there. We were at our Onewheels. We were at a bar last year. And they closed because Bentonville is a little weird in the aspect that they do close a lot of places pretty early because there's just nothing there normally. And but they were just they'd closed officially, but they kept the music going and everything, and we were still like dancing and having a good time until like 1 or 2 a.m. after they closed at like 10. And like the manager and like the whole staff are out there like dancing with us, having a great time. And so yeah, Flow Life Fest is the way to go because you're taking over an entire city with Onewheels, and it's super fun. That's a good time. Now to caveat that is that Shredfest is not taking over a city. This is much more of like a community rooted event. Where like at Flow Life Fest, your people like even Oak City was very spread out with all of our Airbnbs everywhere, versus where at Flow Life Fest or at Oak City Shredfest, you're much more like tight knit because everyone's camping and staying in their RVs and all that, and so that you're gonna get those like really late night rides and all those things that are gonna happen, or people sitting around and opening up to each other in ways that they wouldn't have opened up another way, and become closer friends. Like you might just meet somebody like we've now only been able to talk like this, and then being able to actually meet in person and hang out and spend those times together is really where those connections and those partnerships can be formed. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was one thing that I feel like, you know, with the first few Float Life Fests were super intimate. You know, it was people. It was much more. It was just like kind of carefree. I mean, there was organized events, but it was also just like people just hanging out in the middle of a field, basically. Right. So, and I feel like that is that's one-wheelers is notoriously hard to wrangle as well. Like trying to like do like trying to get people together for events is very difficult from what I've seen or collected. From the festivals, but it's cool to see all these kind of side festivals kind of showing up that kind of still keep that, because in a way I can kind of see that Float Life Fest may go to, it's still going to be very intimate, it's still going to be, but it just, there's a certain volume that you reach, and there's a certain kind of where it's, you know, people kind of know what to expect. I don't want to say corporate, but it's because it's certainly never going to be that. But Float Life Fest has reached this sort of point where it's so huge that you have so many people there that it's and it's very organized, and that's all good. It has to be, otherwise you know it's going to be a complete shit show. But it's amazing to see, like, you know, all the independent type festivals like Oak City, like Seek and Shred, like all the different things that are like Flight Fest. It's all
and I love it. I mean, we saw a few like pop up around like locally that they were people wanting to just kind of do something like this. But my reasoning behind that was it was like a guy and one guy putting on an event, you know, and like and that was my thing, is like, I'm not trying to we're not always trying to make money off of the communities that's on this way, right? And that was where like those events always felt like there was somebody trying to make money, and that with us, that's not what we're doing.
Sure.
This is us trying to get all of our friends to come out here and hang out with us, right? That's really what City Shredfest is, right? So we're just trying to like justify why people should come from all over to check out our area. That's the only thing.
At the same time, though, you like, so this year, now last year you weren't an Underground Racing League partner, right?
No.
Okay, so this year you are, though, right? So people can technically qualify for Race for the Rail on the float track.
Absolutely. So Race for the Rails, no.
Oh, okay.
Race for the Rails is an official one-wheel race.
Gotcha. Or sorry, qualifiers. What are the qualifiers for?
So I believe this year. So last year it was 3 different qualifiers. There was the Western, there was the Central, there was the Eastern. I believe it's only Western Eastern this year. There's going to be 2 qualifiers. I don't know what there's going to be. I don't really have much information on that. That's purely hearsay. Take that as you want. Don't.
So what is?
Don't hold me.
Yeah, and I will say, and the hearsay that I know on that is that Fire Mountain is where the East Coast one's going to be, and that is where it was last year, and that is it's on Cherokee Reservation. Yep. It's fantastic. I would highly recommend coming out for that as well. We will definitely be making a showing to that as well, and I might be even helping out with that as one as well. But it is that's a cool event. I really would recommend coming to that one. And just so you guys know, cannabis is legal there. So.
Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah. What's cannabis?
Yeah, what is
cannabis? I don't know. It's not
what
legal
is
here,
this?
so.
What is this?
Do you drink it?
What is this miracle substance?
Sometimes you drink it. I remember chugging a cannabis root beer before a show one time.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
It was a good show. I played drums probably the slowest I've ever played.
You guys saw me look at me for a second. I haven't.
Yeah.
So
I'm in the VA now knows I do, and because they really, I mean, without a question, the one wheel definitely helps out with the depression side, but when it comes to my seizures, I'm seizure free thanks to cannabis. So
that's amazing. I want to chime in here. I don't want to break this off too much, but I'm curious, and maybe Ori can chime into this too. So what's the purpose of being Underground Racing League partner or a part of that?
So the Underground Racing League is whereas like you have the official like one wheel racing league, the Underground Racing League is like the community's racing league.
Okay.
Right. And so they have their national racing that they're also doing as well. And they also do like Strava laps and stuff like that throughout the year and stuff like that. But they're having different events are going to have qualifiers, and then if you qualify at that event, you can then go to their national event.
And these are bigger races that you can win prize money or whatever.
Correct.
Actually have some stake in it. Okay. So beyond just the one wheels Race for the Rail, there are other other races that you can go win some dough for.
So wait, is this the first year then that you're partnered with him? Is that what you said?
With the Underground Racing Circuit?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
They were not. We were not a part of them last year. No.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. So they're with they'll be helping making sure that we get the live stream going. So
nice.
Exciting. And then they'll be running the they'll also be having like the Strava laps through the Oak City single track, and we've even made like Oak City single track. While we want it to be used for people to go fast and have a good time, it also, like I said, it's in a way to get between point A to point B as well. And so we made a loop that is in that system so that you can now actually focus on speed, and then we can shut those down to and with some stuff, and then have people with stopwatches to make sure that people are actually getting the right times. Because like Strava does have a lot of cool features, but then the negative is that like if people don't
sometimes it says you're going 35 miles per hour.
Or people can just go right by it on the side and then get some crazy speed because they're on a bike, or they get on an e-bike or whatever, and they're just blowing those times. So so I think that we're gonna be doing some things like that. But yeah, the Underground Racing Circuit, I'm very, very, very stoked about having them be a part of us.
Yeah. So what are you gonna have races that are kind of specific to Oak City, or is it purely gonna be partnered basically with Underground?
Right. So Oak City. So think about the Oak City's brand and like what we want to do in terms of the races, or what we we kind of took ownership of last year is that we are like the stock car racing of this world. Like if you think of if you go and look at like how NASCAR started in the Carolinas, and you have like a lot of these backwoods racing, that was really the inspiration for like flow track and how our racing is. So we want to take, like last year we allowed JWs, we allowed CWs, we allowed EUCs. There was an EUC in our race last year, and they came in 10th place. So we really we want to open up to everybody. So like this year it's going to be a little experiment. So like on the actual Oak City race, the one that's going to be live streamed, the one that you're going to get like the acorn from, all that will be open class. So like there'll be GTs, there'll be XRs, there'll be JWs, like all that, right? And we're going to see. We'll find out, exactly, how they're going to stack up, because like everybody's still pretty hell bent that if you have you put like Bart Miller on an XR or like Bodie on an XR, that I'm gonna get still smoked on the GT, and so I'm really very, with the way and the design of flow track and how it is really designed for to utilize the power and capability of the one wheel. That I'm very confident that would be the case.
Bart Miller's putting up like GT now. 33 mile per hour, something like that. I don't know.
He's got some scuffs.
Yeah. No, I get it. I understand that. No, I'm fully aware. And that's a huge possibility that he might just smoke on this, and even other people might just crush it on a GT. So we'll see. And that's what we're really excited. We're gonna have the first time we'll actually have GTs out on flow track will be tomorrow. So we'll be having a bunch of footage coming out.
Cool.
Of that,
I'm gonna enter on a stock pint.
I'm really, really excited to go to this thing, and I'm just imagining what it's going to be like. And I was convinced to get a JW battery just so that I don't have to mope around.
That's one of the biggest benefits of a festival is having an extended range battery.
Travis was like, dude, you're gonna hate it. You're just gonna be sitting there charging.
Well, luckily too with Travis, he's got a GT and he's got a JW board, so now he can loan out a JW board. Something.
So again, like I don't want to sit here and I made a video and I realized it was a little passive aggressive in how I said it, but so I get this question a ton about where to charge at Oak City Shredfest or how to charge at Oak City Shredfest. So the whole main reason that we even signed up to do this event was because the reason why I even signed up to say that I'll run this event was that whole property has been pre-designed for concerts and large events. So there are pillars throughout that have power on them, like just standard plugs. And when I say throughout, I'm talking about the normal property where like the glamping is and stuff. Obviously, we've now expanded the property in terms of what we're doing. So on our end, there's not power there yet. And I say yet because if we can start getting a lot of numbers there, I can justify to the landowners to move that power. But the that is really where we're at right now. Is that there's a ton of power on the property. It's just a matter of going there, and that's what.
So you just go find a plug and plug in.
Yeah, exactly. And then we also are going to bring some generators out to the places that don't have power. And then field camping, everybody that is going out there knows that there's no power out there. So a lot of people are bringing generators. And this one wheel community is so giving that, just people go up there and just charge off the generator. So I really wouldn't be too stressed about power. But I mean, if you want to just you don't want the Stoke to end, absolutely, you'll get a J-Day.
Dude, I'm so
Christian
excited.
does not want the Stoke.
I never want it to end.
Never.
I just can't live
my
without
foot's
it.
gonna end up having a 6-pack on it before the Stoke ends.
Yeah. Dude,
Trust
I'm so pumped about this festival.
So yeah, I've got a unique
It's so
question
fun.
here, right? And
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
I was just saying that I'm so stoked about it too, and I'm like, that's what's keeping me being able to work on this. Like I've been saying a lot, is I'm like riding the Stoke wave for this. Like this is so much fun. The event is so much fun, and as much work and how much stress this is, I remind myself of just how much fun this festival is. So I'm very stoked that everybody else does
awesome.
the same thing.
You've got crazy promo materials out, right? You've got food vendors, beer trucks lined up, all the good stuff. Things that probably got canceled from last year because of the hurricane or not as much Stoke. So this year you've got a lot going for us. I don't know if this is a question you can reveal or not, but how many tickets have you guys sold so far? Like, what's the estimate of like turnout so far?
I'm looking at it right now. I figured that was gonna be the question you're gonna ask, so I pulled it up here. So I've got 181 tickets sold. So
Okay,
far.
awesome.
pretty good.
So I want to address a question here, and this is one I addressed with you earlier, right? So, Ori, Taylor, our people here are lovely singleton people without children. I shouldn't say single. I shouldn't say single.
Singleton.
I mean, I am.
Make it
So-
sound terrible.
Unmarried,
So it works.
unmarried, unduplicated people.
Yeah.
I am
keep
the only
showing,
one.
dude. Just keep
I
showing.
feel like my boss is about to try to set me up, and this is very strange.
So we talked a little bit about this, right? Like in Float Life Fest, obviously there's like I would not take my kids to an EDM festival for
100%.
for obvious reasons. I would take my kids to a certain type of like local rock type festival. There's more open things, right? And so we talked a little bit about when we talked about coming down, because I'm like, hey, I want to take a vacation with my kids and my family. What is the openness to family, or like families coming down there, kids being around? Like, how does that work at Oak City versus like, we'll say Float Life or Float Life Fest or some other major festival?
Yeah. So I mean, again, I think that Float Life Fest is also good for kids too, if they are into this sport and they want to go, because I think Float Life Fest is just as cool. And I think there's not going to be, it's not an EDM festival, you know, it's definitely not that. It's not even like that's not even anything, because I understand exactly why you wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want my kids there either. I would want to be able to have a good time. So they but Float Life Fest, but for Shredfest is I do have kids, so I have kids. There's a lot of us that have kids that do love this, so they would just want to come out to be a part of it. So there's a lot of kids stuff, and then my kids want to be a part of this, being that like they see their dad running it, so they want to do something in it too. So they have a lot of different little things they have planned in terms of like things they want to do with the kids. And then not only that, but we also have like Zoe Miller, who's a great we talked about Bart Miller just a second ago, and Bart Miller is the Miller family is been another fantastic supporter of Oak City Shredfest and just of Oak City in general. We love the Millers. And so what they are doing for us too this year is they're going to come out and they're doing the Miller family clinics, or Miller time. So not only are you going to be able to get exactly, you like that, yeah. So then you're going to have the opening of the day. You're going to actually get a yoga with Chrissy, and then you're also then going to have clinics by Zoe. So like obviously there's going to be more focus for kids, but if anybody else would like to go there, I'd absolutely definitely would learn something from Zoe. And then the best one that if you do not want to miss is How to Fall by Bart Miller.
Nice.
That's going to be the clinic that everyone's going to want to see.
That's a great clinic.
So,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great clinic, and it's totally. I mean, who has never fallen better? So, that's Oak City Shredfest is really more focused on families and making it a fun time. Don't be wrong. There's still gonna be the same kind of that lifestyle that you expect in the Onewheel world,
like cannabis and alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 3 kids, right? 6, 3, and 10 months. And I mean, sure, I partake, but at the same time, bringing my kids around or knowing that there's going to be something to accommodate them, or there's going to be like actual events happening for
like
them.
little
I think
kid
it's really,
cannabis.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Delta 6.
And I'm not saying, let me make this very clear. Nobody's asking to babysit anybody's kids. There's not going to be babysitters. There's going to be no babysitters. But,
no babysitters, but there's still things like you were talking about, maybe face painting or whatever. Some of these little things happening where a kid could participate. And I think it's important to bring that up on the episode, because I know that we've got a varied audience of people watching, right? And so for the dad who's watching, who's got a few kids, who's like, does it really make sense for me to come? Like, sure. Like if you want it, like if you're not one of those people like me who can really easily leave your family, by all means, you could pack things up and have at it.
See you, buds.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that's like, and also we're not just one wheel only, right? So the property's huge. Last year, a lot of the kids were riding around. Like, let's shout out to the Prophets. There's a great family that comes out, and they Wesley's a great little rider from little. He's a teenage kid now, but he's great, and his family and his sisters were a sister and I think a friend or whatever. They were riding around on scooters and having a great time. My daughter will be out there on her scooters and stuff. And there was a bunch of kids riding around on stuff. And then we had e-bikes and EUCs. There's all kinds of things that you can ride out there and have a good time. And then there's the greenways that also attach to the property too. So even if it's something that you don't really want to ride on dirt, you could go and get on the greenways and ride out to Raleigh. So
what's the toilet situation like?
Ooh, toilet situation. That's a great question. So obviously we got porta-johns that will be scattered throughout, and if you can use a porta-john, we would recommend because there's only so much septic space, but. So if you can use a porta-john, I'd recommend it. But if you need to, there are actual bathrooms. There's like one or two. I think there's like four actual like flushable bathrooms.
Like handicapped accessible bathrooms, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they're a little tight. I don't know if you'd say handicapped.
maybe not ADA compliant, but
yeah, I don't know about ADA. There might be one of them might be ADA compliant. But the one I'm thinking about off the top of my head, no, you have to go up the little stairs, and it's like so. Again, for the military that's here, we call them Cadillac bathrooms. I mean, they're the nicer trailer style bathrooms we had overseas. But we have showers. There's an outdoor shower, so if you'd like to get a little more voyeuristic, you can shower outside
nice.
too.
Perfect.
Perfect. He looks at me he's like perfect. I got a guy.
I know who likes to do those.
Yeah.
I got a guy who loves voyeurism.
On the competition side of things, right? For these people coming in, like what kind of you've got some clinics going on, and then we've got races. Do you got any like trick competitions or what other kind of?
We got not only do we got a trick competition, we're gonna do an experimental trick competition that has never been seen before in any one wheel festival.
Ooh.
Because this is not being put on by me because I'm not a trick rider. Like the most things you see, and shout out to Ori, I'm a huge fan of your product. I've been rocking my fly fins forever because that's pretty much what I do. I jump stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I just jump stuff.
You,
like that's what I do.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I've tried to get into some more tricks just because I'm like, well, what else am I gonna
Listen
do?
to this asshole.
Right.
but really, like all I really I just like to jump. I just like to jump on stuff.
The second he gets a GT, bolts some fins.
Bolts some fins on.
Jumps
off.
I'm so excited you guys did that. Oh my god. I'm so ready. I'm so ready to do that. That's why our main reason I only bought a fender. The only reason I bought a fender with my GT.
Do you have your GT? Do you have your GT?
Yeah. It'll get your per FM they said it'll be your April 15th.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Yeah, it worked pretty well. I was just gonna say, I was surprised that I'm really happy that that still is a viable solution. You can just bolt the fin straight on there, and it works great.
Super stoked.
Yeah,
because when I first got into the one wheel, it was like phasing out of that, right? So it's phasing out of everybody was in the and now you guys had come out with the half fenders.
Yeah.
And then I broke my fenders, and then I had to go get the upgraded the nylon blade ones, which
I believe that's what
fantastic.
I have.
I've had no breaks off that.
Yeah, that was one of the most surprising things in the world. Going from polycarbonate to nylon was just like night and absolute day. The nylons just like bend way more. They're way more malleable, but they just pop right back. And that was
and
huge.
Ori for
they're stronger. Like I was breaking them at the screw points. They were just basically the whole fender would just come off, right?
Yeah.
And since then that has not happened. I'm really stoked about how well those are done. I love those.
That's good to hear.
And Ori, you recommend, like, after we were going out filming some GT content with you and stuff, like you were talking about how you tend to want to ride the GT wider because of the concave a little bit. So your recommendation for people with fins is to get some extension blocks too, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the stock fender that comes on the GT is, I mean, it's like it hugs the wheel, so it's pretty far in. So even with the extenders, it's like borderline of how wide I would kind of want to be in a lot of ways.
Oh, really?
So I am kind of taking that into consideration, developing the GT flight fender for sure. Like I'm trying to make it, as far out as possible. So just people naturally it's going to work into that because the GT, it fights you. It really does. Like, man, when you if you're leaning forward in the air, if you're leaning back in the air, that wheel just wants to wants to go. So having that extra leverage really goes a long way.
The chirpy wheel, man.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Speaking of the excellent Onewheel community, these guys went out on a ride. Oh, sorry. There's a little delay.
No, you're good. I just would comment on the chirp. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say these guys came out. I had my kids by myself the other night, so I couldn't go on the group ride. And they all swung, like, what, 7 of you or something, swung by my house, got me out, let me ride it in my front yard while my children were looking out the window.
One's crying.
Yeah.
Where's Dad?
Yeah. And my oldest, I'm like, is the baby okay? Yeah, she's fine. She's screaming. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. There's
what
like a little bit of a
What did you first
delay.
do when you jumped on the GT? What was the first thing that you wanted to test out? As I turn around to be the interviewer.
Are you talking to him?
Yeah, I mean,
Christian, yeah.
Anyway. Oh, me? I wanted to be just like Ori, and no. So Ori had his fins on, and he is a regular rider. I'm a goofy rider. Mm-hmm. So our buddy Travis had his, which was unadulterated, no fins.
Right.
And so I rode that, and what I tried to do, the two things I wanted to do is feel if I could get any sense of what the pushback was like in my driveway, which is I have like a 200-foot driveway. It's really short. So it was like, or not like a 100-foot driveway. It's like really short. I wanted to feel what braking was like. And then I wanted to see if I could notice a difference from the tire. I will say, just like you said, I wanted to ride really wide. Mm-hmm. My feet just wanted to be really wide on it. Mm-hmm. And it was a champion through the grass. Like just fucking so much different than the XR in the grass. But I felt like it always wanted to ride nose high. Mm-hmm. And when you brake, it does this weird little depression thing.
Yeah.
That was like making me feel a little bit ill. Because I was like, whoa, what's happening? You know, but it like does this, like, it almost like when you engage the brake, once it realizes that you want to brake, it like, whoosh, like it pushes back.
The nose, rock solid. It's like it is so.
I pushed on it really hard, and
the tail, it's like a complete butter stick. It just like instantly,
it was wild.
It lets you go, which is really interesting going around turns because once it goes, it'll kind of back up and then it'll lock there. So when you try and accelerate, it's almost kind of like you're still in pushback.
Yeah,
it's really interesting. It's like you'll brake and then it'll like kind of lock you there until you can kind of push back through it again.
I mean, I had like 5 minutes with it, so I did a little loop around my like automobiles and in my yard and stuff, and I noticed exactly what you're saying. When you hit the brakes, if you're going fast forward and you like kind of hit the brake to turn, it feels like it's giving you pushback.
Yeah, it kind of just locks you.
And then you're like, and then until I straightened out again, and then it was even a moment after that where it was like, oh, you want me to go now? I mean, it has all the power. You can feel the nuts on that thing. Like, it's just like it wants to.
I have. I rushed onto that bumper and I was like, yep.
Dude, yeah. But if you got truck nuts for it, they would drag on the ground. Yeah, because
that was the first thing I noticed. Like when we were filming, you're like, hey, go ahead and try it. I was like off guard. Obviously, we were up in the Fins factory, which has those wood floors, and they were all kind of dusty.
Yeah.
So that tire was a little squirrely and kind of
dusty. I wasn't
dusty.
pumped about the tire.
But when I leaned back, I'm like, dude, that really. I was like, oh, I'm gonna banana peel this thing out because if I touch the ground on this back fin, it's just gonna slip. But I did notice that after you like try to accelerate, go because the first thing I wanted to try, I'm like, can I nose drag it? Like
I wouldn't have been able to, but I suck at those anyway. But like I tried to push it down, and it was like, oh no, we're just gonna go.
You really got to be over
it. Takes more force. Yeah, you really got to. I feel it's almost you have to ride it differently than the XR. You have to you almost have to kind of like Captain Morgan.
That's what it
like. Over the nose, or otherwise it'll just jump you back into that brake mode basically.
And I don't know if it was the PSI in that tire or whatever, but it felt like too solid. The carviness was cool.
It was around like 11 or so.
Really? It felt like so.
Actually, I don't know. You were on Trav, so I don't know what.
It felt like so rigid.
It's a very rigid tire. It's
I didn't ride
thick,
Travis's, so I don't know, but
it's very hard. But I actually don't hate it as much as the reviews were just like bumming me out. I was like, oh, this tire's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be, and I mean, it is definitely not my preferred tire, but overall, it's an
okay
what PSI
like.
Yeah, what PSI?
I was
PSI were you running the new tire?
I took it around 11. It came at around like 18. I took it to around 11, and that felt fine. It felt pretty good. Honestly, it just feels like it needs broken in a little bit more because there's.
Yeah.
Did you see Corey's video?
I was gonna say the lower
today?
PSIs feel so much better on that tire.
Yeah.
Higher PSIs are just,
Yeah, the lower
muscle
PSI
roll.
is, and then so I saw a video in the one wheel GT owners group at Facebook today, and Corey Bone is he's standing there and he's got his XR over like in the wheels in the center between like two XR pads. And he's just got the wheels spinning, and he's got this thing, and he's just he's shaving the tread,
Shaving it?
and the
Yes, that was
smoke's
a good
coming
one.
back in his face.
Yeah.
I fucking lost it. I'm like,
Dude, that was a good. Yeah, that was funny.
Dude, I
just
thought
going
about
at
it. Just
it.
putting a cheese grater right to just shaping it right down, just taking off some chunks. Because I mean, it's the tire that's got to be pretty thick. Because I was watching that float life video, and they put it down to like basically no psi, like 2 psi, and it was still like the sidewalls were just not compressing whatsoever.
Man.
So it's a very hard tire. It's
Dude,
a chunky,
it's a
hard
chunky
tire.
tire.
Yep.
All right, wait 1 second. Little gap for editing. I gotta go check on Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, yeah, you're good. Go
So,
ahead.
I'm sorry. So if you want to wait for me to come back or
Yeah, that's cool.
engage
Go
with
ahead.
chat or something.
Wait, is this like is this a thing of you have to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, I gotta have a
Take
wicked
a piss break
Yeah.
here.
My dad's still around. We're gonna celebrate his actually the whole main reason I'll be out in California soon. Shout out again to Gold Country Onewheel. I'll be out there and ride with y'all. But I'm gonna be out there in the summer. So yeah, it's good times.
Have you gotten any of your family on the one wheel?
So my oldest brother, he bought one. It's totally my fault. He bought one right at a time where I was super busy, and I just didn't have time. I just really didn't have time to go to him. And he could have came to me, but he didn't come to me. He didn't do it.
It's a two-way street, brother.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street, brother. Yeah, and he's the oldest. He should have came, but so he didn't. He didn't really get that experience, and I think that the little fear, and he's older, and he's also been injured a few times, and so he just was more afraid of getting hurt than I think than he was, and so he sold it to somebody, and now the guy that has his is one of our great members, and is super cool. So yeah,
Nice,
it's
that's
been
great.
Cool.
That's amazing.
But no, my son rides, but that's it. Nobody else.
Where were we?
Yeah, I don't know where we left off before I had
remember.
to-
Oh, we were talking about the trick competition, by the way. I was already I had that
Oh
catalog.
yeah, sorry. All right, let's do that.
You're good.
We'll bring
Yeah,
it back
so
up
the
around
trick-
then. Go ahead. Sorry. So the
Yeah,
trick
so we
competition.
got it on the. We started talking because of the flight fins, right? So because that's my like if I'm gonna be into it, I'm gonna be into like flight fin stuff because that's just what I like doing, right? And or not even necessarily like doing. It's just it's my thing. Hey, do you know what I'm telling you? We're gonna go off another tangent, but they save you money, okay? Flight fins saves you money.
Okay.
They really do. Because yes, I'm gonna swear to God. Okay.
save big
First of all,
money.
how many
You
times have you
save
heard people
big
chirping
money.
when they're
when
they're
you
they're
shop
chirping
flight
while they're
fins.
doing curb nudges, right?
Yeah.
So every time they're doing curb nudges, they're wearing down their tire, which is going to cost them more. Then and if they've got plates or if they've got bang bumpers or
Yeah.
whatever, they're wearing those down too.
Exactly,
Guess
yeah.
what? Mine are brand new. The front plates on this thing, like brand new, baby.
You
Brand
don't
new, 'cause
got
I just fly
you
right
don't
over.
got to
Just
nudge
hop
shit,
up.
bro.
Yeah, just hop right
Don't
up.
nudge, dude. I just jump it, baby.
Love that.
Yes,
I
love
scare my
that.
neighbors every
Love
single
that.
time. Yeah, I love it.
That's great.
Well, when you get the GT and you put your fins on, you're gonna hear the chirpy mofo. That
Yes.
thing is
The
a
Motorola,
bird.
baby. That's what I was gonna say. I was doing my little interrupt earlier, but yeah, the Motorola. That's what we were saying. That shout out to Terminator. If you guys don't know who Terminator is, again, we have a bunch of nicknames, but Josh in our group, he got
Is it
the
Josh?
other Josh.
Josh?
Okay.
another Josh. That's why he has nicknames. So he got his he was one of the first with the GT, and so he's in all like the footage that we've been putting out with the GT stuff. But that was one of the things because he likes doing little bonks, and he was like, "Ooh, it's got that little chirp chirp like a little Nextel." He's like, "Start calling this thing Motorola, baby."
A little next.
It's like
Dude,
that's
that's
dope.
awesome.
Yeah.
So
Got a
you-
message. It's the GT.
I'm not old enough
Yeah.
for that reference.
So, anyways,
No, say it ain't so.
so the trick competition. Okay, so I'm not the trick guy. So that I've offloaded. Just like I'm not the racer guy, so that's also offloaded. I'm just like the think of me as like the festival director, like the cruise director, the guy that's trying to make sure everybody's having a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've offloaded all those things to everybody else. Like racing, that's Shaman, that's Josh Gifford. He's running all the racing stuff like that, right? And then you have like trick competition, that's Justin Leonard, who also runs Oak City Shred Solutions. Like shout out to Oak City Shred Solutions and Electrolytes. You still got a XR, and you want to upgrade him, get some cool backlights and front lights. Check out oakcityshredsolutions.com. Yeah. Either way, we're gonna have that. He's running the trick competition stuff, right? But then because Float Life is such a strong partnership with us, they are also going to be really focusing a lot of the trick competition. So Bodie and Elijah and those guys are really going to be the ones that are going to be helping shape the way that the trick competition is not only run, but also how it's filmed and how everybody that is there also participates. So it's going to be a totally different experience than what you've seen in terms of trick competition. So I'm really, really excited, not only for you to be there and experience it, but for people to be there and to watch it and be a part of it. So it's going to be a good time.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. Now, when are the dates? Remind me.
So they are May 13th through 15th, 2022. And if you want to get there a day early, we are absolutely going to be there on Thursday the 12th as well.
Awesome. We were talking a little bit. I know you and I were texting a bit. We were going to put like a little Easter egg of a code.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I have it right here.
Oh, you got the code?
I do.
Ooh.
It's active right now.
All right. What is the code? So we're not going to reveal this, right? People have to listen to the podcast if they want this code.
Ooh.
So if there's
extra,
extra,
we're wait till the 17th.
It'll be the 15th or whatever it is.
15th.
We can now we could totally make, if you want to make one like it's generic, I'll totally promote a code. But I want like one that's a little extra incentive for people that are listening to this episode to be like, if you listen to this episode and Acorn Scully is the code or whatever it is, something that's random.
Yeah, you pick it.
Something that's random. They get to this point right here, they're going to get a special discount to buy their ticket.
Yeah, I totally agree. We can do that. You tell me what promo code you want.
Well, I like.
Because I already had a promo code for you, but
Acorn Scully.
Acorn Scully. Let's do it.
ACORNSKULLY. Or we can go SKELLY if we're going with the flight fin.
Scully. Let's do Scully. Fuck flight fin.
All right. Acorn Scully is a very
fucking scalpers taking my shit.
And what we'll do is I'll do Acorn Scully. We're going to do Acorn Scully because this is Pushback Army. We're going to do this at the veteran discount price, which is going to be $75 for that.
Let's go. Nice. Now, remember, this is now you have to be at this point in the podcast when you're in here because this will not be revealed.
It's not going to be in the comments, not going to be in the bio, not going
to be in the highlights.
Listening.
Nowhere. Yeah. Now, if people put in the what was the code you already made? Just so I know.
So the promo code that I already made is going to be Pushback 20 to get you 20% off.
Perfect. All right. So Pushback 20, we're going to use that one in all of our promo materials and stuff to help people get them into this event. But if they watch this episode and they find Acorn Scully, this is a little Easter egg. Kind of an Easter egg. We're kind of revealing it right now. But I mean, half an Easter egg.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's work on the terminology.
Edit it out. That'd be cool. So the live people get it cool, and then the three that are live.
They're like the three people watching just got the hook up. Don't tell anybody.
Don't say anything.
Don't fuck this up for us.
Reveal this code. We will fuck you up.
Please
the Pushback Army will hunt you down with our
sick Terminator on you.
With his Motorola.
No, Dwayne will show up at your door.
Yeah, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who I have on retainer.
We will put all your boards in Sequoia.
Yep. Yeah. Dang. Jeez, Ori went dark side.
I don't fuck around.
Yeah.
Dark side, Ori. Sequoia.
That's actually really good one.
Awesome. Well, dude, I super appreciate you bringing that up. I want to I want to readdress how cool it is that the veteran style, just your background, what you had with your origin story, how you got into Oak City, it's just a testament to the Onewheel community, right? And
for sure. Yeah.
I vibe with that real.
I think it connects with people. And so if you had a reason, if you had your 30-second elevator pitch for why somebody should come to a Onewheel event, what would you say?
Yeah, so I've been really excited. I don't know, 30 seconds. I'm gonna put me on the spot, but it's really more of a. It's that you're gonna get a community and a camaraderie that you really can't find anywhere else. And again, I mean that as somebody who also was in the military, right? And so like everybody expects that to be like the tightest knit groups and stuff like that, and that's not the case. This has been a much tighter knit group. I mean, there's again. I have the nickname Supreme Commander. It's a total joke nickname. I didn't give it to myself, but either way, it's a joke. But I really have separated the military stuff from what I do, and but we have a lot of guys who are former military, and they all are saying the same thing, and they're all in different jobs. It's not just military police; it's special forces, or they were in different, not in just in terms of they weren't in the Operation Iraqi Freedom or Enduring Freedom or anything like that. You're talking about like they were in. Like not Normandy, but
Nam,
like the 70s, yeah, like Nam and like oh my gosh,
Korea,
the islands, not Korea, I don't remember, like Mogadishu kind of thing, but I can't remember one of these all these like older wars, and your experience, they're saying the exact same thing, so it's the same exact thing across the board, and then that's what I've been really pushing back. So I really love that you brought up the veteran thing, because we are our bigger sponsor, not a bigger sponsor, but our big sponsor I'm excited about that we have partnered up with this year is Shred the Stress.
Okay.
And Shred the Stress that is their mission, is to connect the veteran community to the Onewheel community for that purpose, because of this just unworldly connection that just creates this medicinal value, and then also the community aspect of it. So like for me, I've been really wanting to push and reach out to like all those guys and gals and everybody that is over at Fort Bragg and Camp Lejeune and Cherry Point and Seymour Johnson Air Force Base and all these places. These are just the bases that are right around here, and they can be able to come out and see Oak City Shredfest, so they can experience and they can see that community that is waiting for them when they get out, just like you, right, Taylor?
Yeah. I mean, I got into it while I'm still in, so it's,
Yeah. So, honestly, man, where can, I'm super stoked for this event. Obviously, the Pushback's going to be down there. Some of us are going to be down there repping, talking about things, helping out. Where can people find you? Where can people find their tickets? Like, what's kind of our plug here?
Super easy. OakCityShredfest.com. OakCityShredfest.com takes you everything. I was hoping that my TV would be able to show you this, but yeah, OakCityShredfest.com gives you everything. Not only do we now have the map of the festival, shout out to Mike, thank you for doing that. And then we have a super cool map that is just designed for what we're doing out there.
Okay.
We also have photos and videos, so you can see all the videos from last year. We also have a really cool vlog. So if you really want to, not vlog, but a blog. So if you want to like learn more about like the history in the back of like how Float Track and all this stuff kind of happened, and learn more beyond just what I've been saying, you can learn that's also there as well on the website. But then also you can see us on all of our other platforms. We're at Oak City pretty much everything. So Oak City Shredfest, Oak City Onewheel, on Instagram, Facebook, all that. So it's very easy to find.
I was going to ask you too as well, like who's all what kind of sponsors have you locked in so far, or vendors? Like what are some of those people that are going to be down there? Like who can people expect to see when they come into Oak City?
Yeah, so Float Life obviously is the big one. So Float Life is going to be bringing out a bunch of more people than they brought last year, and then Oak City Shred Solutions is going to then be selling Float Life product out there as well through our thing as a part of our arrangement. And then we're also going to have, I'm going to just list it out because I'm going to forget people if I don't list it out.
You got a big list, but we make sure people know like who they can expect to see.
Yeah, so like I said, the Float Life is the base one in terms of that everybody knows, obviously, and that they're also really helping us out the most in terms of just everything. And then after that is, you already brought it up, and I wanted to shout out then, but I'll just do it now, is Corey, and that is with Armadillos. And if you do not have dillos in your tire now, you need to do it. Like, oh my God, that stuff is incredible. It'll make your tire last forever. I had a Whisper tire. It's actually that Whisper tire right there that's now a clock.
Yeah.
And I put like 1,500 miles on that Whisper tire, and with the dillos in it. And I mean, I would go over everything, and it would puncture. You'd hear it puncture, and then it would be filled right there, and it would keep rolling.
I just gave Christian. I sold Christian a tire. He's gonna get his in, and it's got some armadillos pre-filled. I left it in there because I knew I was like, oh, this is some armadillo stuff. I'm gonna leave this in here when I take this tire off. So
quality. It doesn't go stale. It stays fresh, baby.
No, it's great. Yeah, it's great.
Is it still in your clock?
Is it still my clock?
Is it still in
no,
your
I
clock?
I did trade it out. But no, Corey gave me. So I have that. And there I had just the bottle of the black because I think he just came out with it at Float Life Fest 3. And so he let me, because I just put the Whisper on. So I try that, and I did. It ran for forever just with that black in there, and it was really good. So I highly recommend the Dillo. So they're going to be out there, and then the benefit of that is that Corey is coming. He's already bought his ticket, and I'm very stoked about it. For everybody that doesn't know Corey, he is not only is he fantastic at making the armadillos, but he's also a fantastic photographer, and he takes really good photos. And so you're going to get a chance to get some really cool photos out there. And then the way we've set up float track and stuff, and that where you can now be in the center and everybody's racing around you, the photo opportunities are going to just be incredible. So I'm really, really stoked about that.
Lots of content.
And then you already brought it up. Oh, dude, no, I know. So that was the other one. So like last year, I was so excited about getting all the content because I was like coming into it, and then the hurricane happened, and I was running around so much. I filmed like this, and then everybody else was running around having like such a fun time that they didn't film. And then like even the Float Life, they brought out cameras and everything, and they were just everybody was so stoked to have a good time. We're running around,
which is so solid. Then, like it's so solid to know that like if you have an event going on and like people forget to film, you've kind of done your job.
Yeah.
Like you've made it a really good experience, but also when you get back into like marketing and promotion, you're like, well, shit.
It sucks. Yes, it's terrible. Yes, yeah, it's been good though. I mean, we lucked out though. Again, shout out to Darren Cole Crusher on Instagram. He killed it. He filmed the entire time he was out there last year. And he was, sweat pouring down his because it was July. We thought that we would be out of the COVID bubble by then. And so we thought, okay, July would be a good time to do that. And that was the negative. Is the heat was, oh my god, the heat was horrible. But Cole just crushed it, man. He like his name, he just crushed it. And he filmed in his video. He put out a 10-minute long video that pretty much like fully captures the vibe that was Oak City Shredfest 1. And I've used it now, and so many of those clips are now used in a lot of our promotions. So I'm really, really stoked that he'll be back out as well. So.
That's awesome. Do you have anybody else you want to shout out there?
Yeah, we do. I got a list. I'm sorry, I'm going through it now. So I also have Oak City Shred Solutions. Obviously, if you don't know, Oak City Shred Solutions is our brand in terms of what we do for retail, like the retail side of our organization, and the retail and repair side. And we also have the electrolytes, and so that they'll be out there as well. And then the biggest one also is Electric Stoke. This is what I'm really stoked about. So Electric Stoke is coming out, and Electric Stoke is now going to be doing all like the trick competition area. So like we were talking about earlier.
Those guys pop-up park. I don't think they actually advertised this video crazy, but I found a video of them like doing the stuff with the little spine transfer and everything. Those are sick. That little build.
So all their products that they sell, and then even some that they haven't sold yet are going to be down, and so those are all going to be available.
Like that slide block.
Yes, I know those slide blocks. Yes,
I've got a concrete block out here, so that'll replace about 200 pounds.
And so they're going to be really, that's really our focus on the trick competition. And then you also will see some of their stuff on Loop 2 maybe as well. So you might want to keep an eye out for that. Okay. And then Rent eBoards will be out there as well. And they're going to be helping us out with in terms of renting boards. I don't know. I'll have to get with them to find out if we're going to have GTs, but I doubt it. And then the next one is a Floating Realtor. He's one of our local real estate agent. He's actually also a veteran as well. Shout out to John. And he, has branded the Floating Realtor. So if you need your house sold in this area and houses are going like crazy, so check out Floating Realtor. And then we also have Float Gang. And like I said earlier about Wally, we've been selling our products and stuff through Float Gang since Float Gang's inception, and our inception as well. And so we've been working with Float Gang since the beginning, so you check out them as well. And then Burris Racing also is supporting us as well. So you're gonna get a chance to win some Burris tires from them.
Hell yeah.
And then SoCal Float Tribe is another big brand. They helped us out last year, and it's been a great time. They sent out a bunch of cool merchandise for all the winners of all that. So everybody that has some pretty cool like limited edition SoCal Float Tribe stuff from them. So that's really cool. And then I also brought up Shred the Stress. They are also helping us out as well. And then another company, which I have one of their products back here as well, is Dynavap. And if you know about Dynavap, you're going to enjoy Dynavap. And then we also have the Float Addicts, who this is a big excitement here for as well. And this is we really the first time we're actually announcing it publicly. But the Float Addicts, and they're designing a jersey for us. and that pre-sales on that jersey is going to be going out shortly, and then those jerseys will be available at the event. And then another big one, this is really something I was really stoked about getting, and we also have a lot of our riders who are now a part of this organization, and that was really what I was also really stoked about. And so that is Drift Sisters. So Drift Sisters, they are now, shout out Mandy and all them. They're doing a great job. So now we also have our now Drift Sister liaisons now in North Carolina now because of this and stuff. So that's what I'm really stoked about, and then what can kind of come out of that going forward. And then JW Battery, which we brought up earlier, so that's super stoked to have them out as well. And then the other one is Buffalo Mountain Adventures, and they are the ones going to be taking care of all those paddle boards that we have out there. And we have some really cool paddle boards that are out there meant for like whitewater rafting, so you can really like kind of test them out and maybe even play a little game of paddleboard rumble. So it's a good time.
Nice.
That's a good time. That's
Nice.
Thanks to Buffalo Mountain Adventures. So those are the sponsors and those big brands that are going to be helping us out this year. We also have some vendors that are going to be out in terms of selling some product, and like local vendors that will be out selling like little trinkets and things like that in terms of like crafty things.
Yeah.
And then also some food stuff, and then even like maybe some insurance to cover your board if it gets stolen, and things like that. So it's going to be a good time.
What about insurance if you ruin your board?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't know.
How many people can we insure?
Now,
Whether we have to go with rent e-boards when we do the the big drop, or doing a slide and all of a sudden my hall sensor goes bad, or
and now you're having it seemed like, are you still having local beer?
Yeah, so and I that was on the top of my list, and so I'm glad you reminded me. I skipped it for that we could talk about it in a second, but I'm sorry. That is a big shout out. So we have a local rider who also owns a local brewery, and so we have gotten that partnership, which is super exciting. And so
That's awesome.
Do they do their own labels?
Adrian. They do their own labels.
Are you going to have them make like a custom?
They're award-winning labels.
Are you going to have them make like a custom Oak City label?
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know if we will do that. I don't know.
We'll have to see, won't we? We'll have to see.
I don't know. Maybe I have to come out to City Shredfest.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Nobody knows.
There might be a beer. Who knows?
Nobody knows what the future holds until you get there.
I don't know. I don't even. Yeah. So that's Flying Bull Brewery.
What is it called?
No, it's not a porter.
No, I'm just saying like a nosedive cream ale or something like. I don't know. Just
that's a funny one. Yeah, I like
have
that.
him take it. Have him take it to the full.
We had a chat going for a while with lists of names and things going for quite some time. So they're still going actually. So
what's the name of the brewery? Sorry, I missed it.
Flying Bull Brewery. So very fitting for flight fins too.
Oh, yeah, nice. Right.
Yeah, so we've been. I mean, they've been really helping us out this whole time, and they've even been helping us out with providing the beverages, even while we've been out working on flow tracks. So it's been a good time. We're very, very stoked to be a partnership with them.
Awesome.
And you have a tattooer coming, right?
Yes. So we also have a tattooer coming. And I shout out to the tattoos that are right here. So we have some really super cool. He's a one-wheeler as well. Charles is a shout out Charles, and so he not only does he design this stuff that is very fitting to one wheel, so like you have but now you also have a lot of people that are known that actually now have these tattoos on them. So you have Elijah has two, so he has the skull astronaut, and then he also has I think he has the snail too. And then Bodie has the nose slide, and then I have, and me and Sam Varner have the exact same pyramid tattoo in the exact same spot. You'd think they would have said something to us when we were getting it, but whatever. So yeah. You can get
being that it was a tramp stamp, they would have thought that they would have told us.
No, you never. No, that's the situation where you wouldn't tell.
Yeah.
You'd be like, yeah, absolutely. Nobody has ever done this before. You're the first
Nobody's
person
ever
to
done
think
this,
of it.
If I don't have a Dwayne tattoo, I want maybe like the hair that built flight fins, with some flight fins on it.
So what's that like? So is it one tattooer that goes and he just works all day long? He never gets a ride?
Dude, yeah, he was working the whole time. So it was two guys that came last year, but even the other he didn't have all of his. He somehow, I can't remember, he forgot something, and so he couldn't tattoo. So it was only one guy tattooing the whole time, and yeah, he crushed it, man. And I mean, he literally was I can't remember how many. It was 20 plus tattoos. I mean, it was just nuts.
Do you set up an appointment for that? How does that work? I'm asking for a friend.
I think that's what he was doing last year. Was he was basically trying to set up appointments.
Okay. Is it
so he's basically set appointments like come in early and set up a time that you'd want to do it.
So make an appointment that day, kind of thing.
Yeah, it was either that or it was first come first serve.
Gotcha.
Because like there was good times where like a lot of people were doing one thing, and so people were going in and getting their tattoos. That was also when like other people were. There was a lot of tattoos.
So you pick something off of the flash sheet, and then he does it
off the flash sheet. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's that. A lot of people were I know a lot of people want custom stuff,
but that's not what this is about.
Because it's not what it's about. They're gonna just do the flash stuff. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, he's gonna make more. So this is last year's stuff. I don't know if he's gonna.
You can finally get that butthole tattoo
last year, but
I already got
Tell
it.
him I'll send him over the Scully logo. Be like, hey, if you can get the pushback.
If you work
Scully,
this in, we'll give you an extra $20 for each one you do.
The pushback
$20.
I'll give you a 20 spot for each one you do.
Give me the pushback Scully
That's
with
a lot
some
of-
fins on it,
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
Like a Scully
Yeah,
fins,
that'd be
and so
good.
it's skull
On
on
his
the middle.
helmet? I
wouldn't even
the
want
fins
that.
across
Like fins on his
Yeah.
helmet?
No, like on the side of him. You know, like so if you take
Like
him
on
and you
his
put some
helmet?
like fins across him, and then it would almost look like the new hoodies, right? So it's got the wings, like it's like your flight wings.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
So then you have
know.
the Scully wings,
Yeah.
Sounds dumb to me. No, I'm just,
just
kidding, dude.
2 inch.
Shout out to if Graham Evans is watching. He got like a big old flight fins tattoo.
Did
like,
he?
Huge.
Nice.
He sent me a picture of it, and I was like, not real. There's no that. Yeah, you trolled me. That's fine. I was like, okay, fine. What do you want? I was
Like full logo?
like full big old logo. It's beautiful. It's like it's
Like
a lot
the-
of black. It's a lot
That's
of black.
amazing.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I might get the sacred fins. That's like a pretty cool
Yeah, the
design.
sacred flight. Yeah,
I like that
yeah.
sacred geometry stuff. So
Yeah,
why
man,
not?
that's cool.
Absolutely.
Like
That
here?
would make a nice sacred flight right on your
right here.
forehead.
Right on the
yeah.
forehead. Perfect.
Right.
And I can like Ash Wednesday. You. I can,
It might glow if you touch it. Yeah.
it might glow if you touch it.
Do you guys have anything else? Yeah, anything else you want to ask Josh? Or
I could talk to you all day, my man.
Josh, if you
Dude,
could
I can
eat
talk like this all
one food for the rest of your life,
And it can't be
Like
dick.
type of food?
no,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
a
yeah.
like
Like
a
dick.
single kind. Like if it's Indian, it has to be like butter chicken. If it's sushi, it has to be a spicy tuna roll.
if it's penis, it has to be left nut or middle shaft.
wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, dude, definitely. No, so I would I'd go seafood, and I would go I would have to go with like a seafood pasta, something to that effect.
Ooh, little carbs, little seafood. I like it. Okay, yeah,
That's my go-to.
Get your fish oil, get your carbs.
Perfect. There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah. So speaking of food, that was a mistake.
Oh yeah, what are the
biggest
food
thing on my
trucks?
part. Yeah, so like last year, like if you looked at that, I had one truck that I lined up right in the beginning. I was really confident they were going to be here the whole time, so I was like, I don't want to like have them get doubled up and then there'd be no competition, or that not a competition, but I didn't want them to like not make money. And but by doing that, when they canceled because of the hurricane, we had no food truck, so I was on like the last minute of getting like one that was maybe going to come in like the afternoon, and then we had a dessert truck that was coming at dinner. You know, like so I was like, this is nothing. And so shout out to 716 Food. They came and they were only going to be there for like 2 to 3 hours, something like that. And they stayed the entire night, like way late, and killed it. And they had a great time. So the second that we asked them to come this year, they signed up right away. And we're like, we'll be there for anything you come, what you do. So we got them.
What
got
kind of food do they have? What kind of food?
It's like that's like a Buffalo, New York style food. So like
Okay,
obviously
nice.
buffalo wings, and then like some fried stuff. They have some, speaking of like seafood, they got these fried crab sticks. While I was getting my tattoo, that's what I ate. They were really good. Then the other one. So we have Crave food trucks. They do like, this is a really cool thing that we got. They are on the second Sunday slow rolls that we do. We've been going to, and it's actually where the first ride that I went to actually was at too, which is Raleigh Brewing Company. It's a local brewery here in this area. And our rides, we go around the art museum, and then we end at, or not end, but we like, that's our first charging spot is Raleigh Brewing. And we've been going there through the pandemic and all this stuff and like nonstop. And then we finally got to like really meet the management, and they were like, this is awesome. We love that you guys are coming here. You guys are like, nobody else is here at noon on Sunday.
right.
So you guys are bringing a ton of business. So they're like, we'll start inviting food trucks. And so the first food truck that came, you should have seen just their face when they're watching us. We brought like slide blocks out, and we do like trick competitions and stuff, and it's all like you can see the stuff we do live on our Instagram. But it I look over and they're sitting in the food truck just jaw dropped at what we're doing, and I was like here's a sticker with our QR code. Yeah, I was like, here's our QR code. Go ahead and you should come to our event. And they were like signed up right away. And so they're like and then I even told them that like the demographic of this this Onewheel world, and so they were like, so they know to stay a little later because the munchies might hit later. So they're arguably when you say like munchy food, it's it's like hot dogs with Carolina barbecue on top. It's like grilled cheese sandwiches with Carolina barbecue. It's like munchy food with mixture of like that Carolina barbecue kind of style into it, and it's real. I'm really stoked to have them. Nice. And then we also have some other little vendors that are also gonna be selling some food. And then the big one that they also came last year, so I really want to give them a shout out is Magnificent Creations. And this is like dessert that's on fire. I mean, it is fantastic. It is so good.
Like it's like creme brulee.
So pretty much what you're telling me
literally on fire
is the range that I start out with when I come to Oak City Shredfest will be drastically different by the time I leave.
Correct. Yes. You're gonna be glad that you have the GT because you'll be able to get up the hills better.
So what you're telling me is I need to bring like $500 in cash.
Just for
yeah. I mean, they take Venmo.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Perfect.
All right,
do they take Klarna though?
Yeah.
If you're not having $73 worth of fun a month,
well, if they take Klarna, maybe my wife can help me out.
But I mean, you're gonna also have like we also offer Oak City where we wanted to do something that we wanted to do this at Flow Fest 3 again. We just had such a good time. And we were so hoping that Flow Fest 4 was going to be in the exact same spot, and we were basically just going to like repeat, but escalate it, because we're like, now we know we can just make it better, right? So one thing that we really wanted to do is do like a pancake breakfast, where we just were making pancakes, and then just anybody can come by and get pancakes, And so we just now took that, and so we do that on Sunday morning at Oak City Shredfest too. So we'll come make sure you, if you actually want to wake up,
nice,
you can come and get some pancakes.
Yum.
So that's good time.
Awesome. I had one other.
Last year, nobody was awake until like noon. So.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the biggest things that with like the event planning is, again, one-wheelers are a very, very varied, but a specific demographic of people that usually aren't up super early. Probably once they're up, they're going to be like, all right, I'm going to smoke a bowl. Let's wake and bake. We have some things to do before we get anything else done. Because a lot, like at Float Life Plus, a lot of their events were at like 8 a.m., 7 a.m., and people were like, well, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'll have a pancake lunch today.
Yeah, exactly. However, if you have something to wake up for, like pancakes, then they're probably going to show up.
Yeah, I mean, we got to do this on Sunday because trying to get people out the door with a happy stomach. But you said something that was really good though that I was going to say. I forgot. Go ahead.
That one-wheelers are wake up late.
We move on. One-wheelers move on hippie time, bro.
Yeah.
It's just hippie time, dude. I mean, so it's just like if you think of that and you know that.
Yeah, I mean, even me, I'm up like most of the days, like, when I'm walking through, I've got 3 kids, I've got 2 businesses to run. Like, I'm usually up between 4 and 6 a.m. to make sure that I've got things happening and I'm going across. If I'm at an event and I'm actually at the event, you probably won't see me until 10 or 11 or noon.
Because you're on vacation. You're taking it.
I'm on vacation. And not only on vacation, I'm substanced on vacation.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying my time.
Dude, like Bodie and Elijah didn't wake up on Sunday till like noon. We were all like, we had like the staff here and stuff, and we're like moving in and out, and they're just out. They're gone. and then shout out to Justin from OC Stretch Solutions. His hammock broke in the middle of the night, and he just slept on the floor, on the ground. Like we're all like, this is where everybody's working. We're like feeding people, and he's just in the back, like asleep on the ground. So it was good times.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
But that was because people were out riding Flow Track until like 6 a.m. Because shout out to our, the landowners and and Tebow, who's we're partnered with them, and they run a concert lighting company, like a professional lighting company. So they brought out professional lights and like angled it, and that's why there's only like very few little clips from that because people were having such a good time and nobody broke out their camera. And even I I don't really remember it actually, which is weird. I don't know why. I don't know why.
What went on there seems very undocumented.
Yeah.
What goes on?
But it sucks. It really, like you're saying, like you're trying to show off that one cool thing that like I know everybody wants. Like everybody wants to be able to go ride all night. Everyone wants to be able to ride on trails and not have to like fear that like, oh, there's gonna get kicked off or whatever. And that's what we now have done. And with with what we've made with the single track, and we're not even done. We're gonna be out there tomorrow and working more, and the stuff that we've got that we're not even sharing still is super exciting. So
and this year you've got a big stage. You've got some concerts going on, right? So I mean, there's live music. There's and like I said, I was reading your bio that you sent over, and everything from massages to tattoos and some paddleboarding, some music. So like you're getting the full experience coming out.
Maybe a little podcasting. You never know.
Maybe a little podcast.
Dude, I think that doing a podcast on the stage would be the way to go, man. I think that'd be super cool. We can set that up very easily. There's a lot of power. There's Wi-Fi. It'd be super.
And Ori's definitely coming. He already said so.
Yes.
Hey, Ori, I would love. Hey, if I listed all those names out of brands.
Yeah.
Well, if nothing else, I'm sending these guys as my ambassadors. They're gonna.
No.
Okay.
We'll be down there.
I could be your ambassador too. I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
So I went to the Facebook page and I was like, oh, it's like in July. Like this is great. Like that's I doesn't look like I have anything going on. So I found out that it's in May. Yeah, right.
Yeah, last year was July.
Yeah. So that's why I just realized that, and
that it's even easier for you to go.
Well, there was an Odd Epoxy show on that weekend. So now it's possible. It's possible that because they gave us some options for that date. I had agreed. This is a while ago, but maybe I'll switch it around. So we'll see. I'm not completely cutting it out.
Man.
But
yeah, but
I've got a musical I'm supposed to run. I've got 4 days of a musical I'm supposed to run with our company, Soundfall, and I'm like, well, Soundfall's running it, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna text this person, like, can you run this? I've got you paid, like it's good. But
yeah, if I had a backup like doppelganger that I could just send to stage, then that would be
but really,
fun.
but it's like one day that show, right?
It is.
You're like probably not doing anything the day before or the day after.
Okay, Christian. All right, you're
I'm just saying. Like,
slowly. I
promise you, what will probably happen is we'll probably have a couple boxes of flight fins in the back of one of our SUVs on the way down.
You know
it's
what
gonna be
you
like
should
black
do?
market fins. It's
You know what?
like,
I think the real answer is just change the venue
to Oak City.
Yeah, just
everyone that was going to come to
God.
downtown Mansfield. Okay, the venue has been moved.
I would kill for an Odd Epoxy at Oak City Shredfest.
No, I think that's probably going to be more because we went to City Shredfest. So last year we got to play at City Shred, which was
hell yeah,
really fun. They've invited out, so they had the recent one. Last year they tried to like fit two into 1 year. Like, well, we'll see what happens. But they're doing it again this year. We are going to be playing again this year. That was a super fun time. But I would love to see. I mean, it's kind of a natural progression of like Onewheels and like music type festivals. I think it's a great just mix up of different activities and things like that. So
float around and find out.
Yeah, float around and find out.
Float around and find out.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So
I can't take credit for that. That's Dustin, I believe his name is. He tags me in the reels all the time, and he's always got the hashtag float around and find out. I'm like, genius.
I love that.
It's really good.
I'm gonna start tagging that one. That's great.
It's really good.
If I mess your name up, I'm so sorry. I will correct it in
post.
In post. You'll just hear this little voiceover come over with your
or
Instagram
like
reel.
like
shout out to you for the float around and find
or
out.
just
You
use
tag me
the
in reels all the time.
Use the Metal Gear Solid thing again, and like just like put like the real name across the front. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, dude, hey, I've got one more suggestion for you, right? So you said you're at 180 tickets, right?
181, yeah.
181 tickets sold. Goal is 300 at least, right?
Yes.
So goal is 300.
I mean, that would be goal is 300 to where I would be confident. Yeah, we'll be flush before that, but yes.
For sure, yeah. But it'd be really cool to have 300 people out there, 300 to 500 people just spreading the stoke. I've got a cool, I'll put it out as a suggestion, right? And something I'm totally cool with doing. Would it be really fun? This episode airs April 15th, somewhere around there.
Right. I think that's what we said.
Yep, middle of April, this episode airs. What I think would be cool is sometime between then or post, excuse me, one of...
You're disgusting.
You sick fuck. three Vizzies straight in, and I've got a little bit of burps. What I think would be really cool is to do some type of rolling live, where you and I collab and we go live on Instagram for like, we'll call it a marathon of some sort, right? A 4 to 8 hour stretch of coming in back and forth, and we'll monitor it to see if we can bump up ticket sales. Tell people that there's even a special, like, hey, if you listen to the podcast, you might find something special in there. I don't know, just to boost some sales, depending where you're at. Keep us up to date. I think it'd be great to just spread the stoke and bring some more people in.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
And I love that idea. We'll go live for some type of marathon, and it'll just be the Pushback podcast. I found this thing online that we can actually put our ATEM and shit inside of Instagram Live. So
like this?
Yeah. Well, kind of like this. I'll send it over to you too. There was like a little thing I found, but we can send it through our production equipment, so it looks a little bit better. And we could do like a live marathon, have some of the guys come out.
So here's you have.
I also have this space, so I can get another squirrel in here too.
Perfect.
Always more squirrels.
Yeah.
But I think so you get 2 graws, right? Okay, they're spaced out, or any sort of gap that you can move. Yeah. And for every additional ticket you sell, you move it another half foot or something. Then you got to clear it.
Are you coming for this?
Because no, that's what I'm saying. I'll hit the gap.
You'll be the guy.
I'll hit the gap, and I'll try and
no limits.
I'll sell tickets.
This is perfect
because people are gonna want to see some shit eating, and I can provide it.
They might not even come, but they're gonna buy a ticket so they can see Ori launch some graws. I'm down for this.
Talk about shit eating. I mean, that's just really the truth, man. Like that's why we were so excited about opening up Flow Track into the more spectators, is because that's what people want to see. They want to see people crash. I mean,
that's why people go to NASCAR. That's why people go to. It's like people
any drag race. They want to see. They want to hear the loud noises and see somebody like roll their car.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm totally down for it. We'll set up the podcast. We'll make it something outdoors or something. We'll make it happen where we'll do some type of challenge to say, hey, more ticket sales. This will happen after. I'll get with you afterwards. We'll talk about some details, but. Hell yeah, man. Dude, thanks for coming on to the show. We're sitting at an hour and 52 minutes, which actually be probably more like an hour and 42 minutes because we had like 10 minutes of dead time.
That big old piss break.
Yep.
But I do have one because I did forget it. Yes. I did forget it because they were a lot like they just recently were an addition in terms of joining, so I didn't have them on that list. And it is. And I hate to say this, I'm sorry, Fly Fins, but it is one of your competitors. But it is so Overlanders.
No.
I like every one of the products.
It's an Audi versus an Innie, okay?
Dude, all
versus an Innie.
There is enough room for everybody.
There is. For
all
I mean, how
products.
many fucking lifestyle brands do you have in there? And when I'm like, I'm Pushback merch over here is like, all right, well,
That's the best.
And you guys also Pushback was also on that list too, but I think that was just
that's
also
right. Yeah.
That's a given.
We're here.
We
understand.
We out here.
No, dude. There's enough.
Yeah.
room.
So, but Overlanders is they're helping us out. So there's also
No, I mean that's cool. I'll never come to your festival. It's fine.
No, he's already coming. He's already said yes.
No, I've already said
but
yes.
No, I think that
secretly.
I like we can do all kinds of different events. But my big thing that I'm excited about is the like you were talking about in terms of like the the community and what the community can do is that we also have like Charlotte Onewheel, which is shout out to Charlotte Onewheel, which has been a huge group that's out here, and they're going to be doing also kind of like they've been really good at shout out to Andy who's running them. He's been really good at getting the games. Like you're talking about how it's hard to like kind of gather one-wheelers and stuff. Yeah, Andy is like an expert at it. So like he's
a wrangler.
His ability to get the wrangling and be able to get people to do fun things. So. We're really excited about how those games, and I've got games list that are going to be a lot of fun. And then the other one is, like I said, the nighttime riding. And then, so we have all that ability. So think about like bringing lights and light up things and lasers and things like that. And then obviously the costume contest, and there will be an actual costume contest.
I'm gonna custom order some Flight Fins costumes
Scully,
with like instead of wings, it'll be fins.
Barely there was this.
But
thing
I mean, that's in the costume contest, and not to like talk bad about anybody else, but like instead of just having it for like one little moment of a costume contest, we're trying to have it as like a big thing. So during that trick competition, that is like we said, is not going to be like anything you've ever seen before. I will be in costume. There'll be a lot of us will be in costume. So we're encouraging those that do want to get involved in the costume contest. We're gonna have the costume contest right after the trick competition. So if you put your costume on before, then now if you're in the crowd, it gives that a little bit of that like let's make a deal style environment and vibe that's going on. And then you can then keep that costume when you're riding into now the evening activities. They'll be out on Flow Track, which will be all the light up stuff and all the glow ride stuff. So you'll be able to kind of blend and actually justify why you spent the money on the costume, took the time to put it on, and now you're going to use it for all that time. So it's
Love
a good
it.
time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Love it. I'm gonna dress up as Ori.
I will shave my head and give you a wig.
Yeah, give me the hair that you've shaved before we donate it. Yeah, I'm a very bald man. Very bald.
Very.
Very.
Hell yeah, man. Well, dude, it was, dude, it's been a pleasure having you on. I'm super stoked for the event. It'll be the first event that the Pushback Army will be out at, so I'm super stoked about that.
So pumped.
Stoked to have you on to talk a little bit about it, talk about what Oak City is, talk about your background in it, man. And dude, I'd love to have you obviously on in person. Like we've been dealing with some virtual interviews, which is cool, but that in person experience is like nothing else. So
definitely is something we can talk about.
Cool. Hell yeah, man. Well, we will see you at the event. And this is our outro track because it has been a phenomenal podcast with Oak City Shredfest with Supremo.
Let's go.
And we're going to have a good time down there, man. We're going to have all these big batteries in it. We're going to get some tattoos. We're going to get massages.
We're going to get tattoos.
Yeah. Do you have tattoos, Ori?
Zero.
See you there.
Zero tats.
About time.
Me.
First one's going to be big FF logo across my back.
That might take a while with the bold shading.
Right above your butt crack.
It's a flamp stamp.